You know what's scarier than facing a horde of zombies? Trying to explain power scaling to a Dragon Ball fan. Today we're diving into the absolutely ridiculous question that has been keeping me up at night. Could Goku survive Resident Evil? And before Dragon Ball fans start typing furiously into the comment section, yes, I know he could probably sneeze Resident Evil out of existence. But stick around because we're gonna have some fun with this one. Let's break down what happens when we have an unstoppable force that meets a very movable village. The scene opens up like Resident Evil 4 always does. Quiet, tense, and that false sense of security. Except this time, our protagonist's biggest concern isn't if they'll survive or not. It's probably if the villagers know how to make a good meal. Now, in the original game, we play as Leon, who is a normal human trying to figure out every way that he can survive. But Goku, this is basically his version of a meet and greet. Remember, this is the same guy who, during the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai, I hope I'm saying that right, was giving Jackie Chun that work. And let's not forget that Goku's tossing around boulders that put Chris Redfield to shame. The Gandos are rushing him with pitchforks. During the Red Ribbon Army saga, Goku was demolishing entire mechanized armies, and he was treating tank shells like mosquito bites. But then, we have everyone's favorite little guy with a chainsaw, Dr. Salvador, coming back. The guy that single-handedly made millions of players stop, pause their game, and rethink their life decisions. The chainsaw revs. He slowly starts walking closer to you. And Goku probably thinks it's some sort of weird training equipment. I mean, this is a guy who trained under 100 times Earth's gravity for fun. Here's the beautiful irony. While Leon's over here living through every horror movie ever made, Goku's biggest challenge would be to not accidentally destroy the entire village. He could casually do this by using an energy blast. We're talking about someone who, even before reaching Super Saiyan, could generate enough power to level entire mountains with one Kamehameha. But you guys might be wondering, what about Dr. Salvador's chainsaw? I'm just kidding, no one's wondering about that. That's just in the script for some reason. This is literally just background noise for Goku now. And let's be honest, the most terrifying thing in this village isn't the chainsaw. It's the fact that Goku would probably try to befriend everybody and then try to invite them back with him to train. Imagine that, a village full of parasite-infected monsters, getting a crash course in ki manipulation from a Saiyan that regularly spars with gods of mass destruction. But if you think that this mismatch is amusing, wait until you see what happens when we pit the guy who shook the universe during his fight with Beerus against everyone's favorite giant stalker in Raccoon City. Nemesis, you might want to go back and find a Stars member. Goku is not that one. You know, Nemesis, the walking tank of Resident Evil 3 that only knows one word. Here's where things get interesting or hilariously one-sided, depending on how you're looking at it. Let's break this down. Nemesis comes equipped with a rocket launcher, superhuman strength, and a bizarre healing factor that puts Wolverine to shame. Well, during the Saiyan saga, and remember, this is early Goku we're talking about, our spiky-haired friend was already dealing with power levels over 8,000, enough to casually destroy mountains. But wait, I hear you say, Nemesis can survive rocket launchers. Goku was tanking planet-destroying attacks from Frieza, and that was before he even went Super Saiyan. Nemesis rocket launcher might as well be like one of those confetti cannons. And let's talk about that famous Relentless Pursuit. You know, that one that had Jill Valentine speed running through Raccoon City to escape? Let's think about this. Okay, so we have Nemesis right here. We have Goku right here. And okay, yeah, instant transmission. He's gone. Wrong room. He can literally teleport. Imagine Nemesis charging forward, tentacle out, pause, only to repeatedly grab thin air while missing Goku every single time. Meanwhile, Goku's behind him asking him, hey, what you looking for? Okay, but let's give Nemesis the benefit of the doubt. He starts mutating, getting bigger, getting stronger, more tentacly-y? I don't know. Meanwhile, Goku's standing there probably thinking this is just another weird Tuesday. Remember, this is the same guy that watched Frieza transform multiple different times, and he treated this like he was waiting his turn at the DMV. The funniest thing, Nemesis is treated like this creature that can't be stopped, that's on this endless pursuit to you. But then we gotta remember, he's chasing someone that can move faster than light. That's not a horror movie anymore. That's just a beat-em-up game for him. But if you thought Nemesis had it rough, wait until you see when Mr. X tries to punch someone who treats universal scale combat like a fun weekend activity. And trust me, those fancy leather gloves, they're not gonna help anything. Goku versus Mr. X. Mr. X is that guy when running through RPD, it made it feel like you were trying to outrun your responsibilities, but you knew that they were always gonna catch up to you, and there was nothing that you could do. He was scary. But now we are putting someone that is probably a million times scarier if they were a villain in the shoes of the person getting chased. Let's appreciate the irony here. Mr. X's whole intimidation factor comes from being this unstoppable force that just keeps coming at you. No matter what you do, the guy's gonna punch through a wall, tank shotgun blast, and rock a fedora without looking like he'd post on Reddit. But here's the thing, during the Cell Saga, Goku was already moving so fast he could create an after image. Mr. X isn't chasing survivors anymore, he's chasing a literal blur. In those wall-breaking punches that all made us jump in Resident Evil 2, Goku can literally shatter dimensions. A wall punch is the equivalent of bringing a peace treaty to someone who already pressed the nuclear launch button. The best part, Mr. X's giant footsteps that everyone's terrified of, the ones that had us all hiding in save rooms. Goku can sense energy. He literally can know where you're at all times. This isn't even hide and seek anymore. This is just sad. But what about Mr. X's transformations? You mean when he gets bigger and loses the fancy hat and grows some claws? Goku watches people transform as a hobby. He'd probably start giving him tips on how to transform better. He'd probably give him tips on how to transform better and give him like a senzu bean or something. But yeah, about those transformation tips, he'd be like, yeah, if you just yell a little bit louder, it might work. It works for me. But here's where things get really interesting, because while Mr. X might not be able to reach Goku physically, our next contestant, Eveline, brings something to the table that not even Ultra Instincts might be able to survive. Good old-fashioned psychological warfare. And trust me, this is where things get complicated. Goku versus Eveline. This is where things are interesting, because while Goku can pretty much punch through everything physically, Eveline brings something entirely different to the table. She brings that psychological war factor, and let's be real, Goku is not exactly known for his stellar decision-making. Like I said before, this is the same guy that gave Cell a senzu bean to make his fight against his son harder. Eveline's whole thing is mind control and creating hallucinations. She turns people into her family with her mold powers. But remember during the Majin Buu saga, where Babidi tried to control Goku and Vegeta, but he just let that happen. Yeah, that didn't work out so well. Goku's pure heart and mental fortitude, play the Google thing, might be an actual superpower here. Though I have to admit, watching Eveline try to make Goku a part of her family would be kinda hilarious. Asking Goku to be your dad, but Chi-Chi would probably actually kill him, and he's already died enough times. But what about her mold powers? Goku has literally resisted god-level energy corruption. Plus, sane biology is insane. The closer they get to death, the stronger they get every time. Eveline's mold trying to infect Goku is like trying to flood an ocean. And when she goes full kaiju mode, look, I'm not saying Goku would be disappointed, but this is the guy who regularly spars with beings that could destroy entire worlds. It's like bringing a haunted house to a nuclear testing site. But if you thought Eveline's family issues were complicated, wait until you see Mother Miranda try her god act on someone who literally spars with deities for breakfast. And trust me, her variation of godhood is about to get a real quick reality check. Mother Miranda, Resident Evil Village's god, who clearly never got the memo of what actual deities are made of. Let's break this down. Mother Miranda spent centuries experimenting with Megamaciti, I don't know how to pronounce it, to achieve godhood. Meanwhile, Goku achieved divine status during a warm-up session over the weekend. Now, I'll admit, her transformations are impressive. At least they look impressive. I'll give her that. The wings, the extra eye, the whole cosmic horror thing going on. But remember, Goku achieved Ultra Instinct, the form that literally had gods sitting back down in their seat, too afraid to fight him. Miranda's over here thinking she's the final boss. Meanwhile, she didn't even make the cut for the filler episode. But she has immortality, I hear my fellow Resident Evil fans yelling at me. I want to agree with you, but it's Goku. Need I say more? He's untouchable. Saitama would beat him in a fight, but you know, fight about that in the comments. The real irony here is Mother Miranda spent centuries trying to resurrect her daughter, when she could have asked Goku to just borrow some of the Dragon Balls. Though I'm guessing this lady wouldn't understand the whole wish-granting orbs. This is the same woman who thinks black mold equals divinity. If you enjoyed watching me destroy the horror of Resident Evil with Dragon Ball logic, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and let me know which character you want to see go up against Resident Evil next. And click the video on screen, because, I mean, if you like this one, you're gonna like that one too.